Switzerland, 1912. Jung sits at his desk, hands shaking. He knows what this will cost him. For years, he followed Freud's teaching. Sexual energy is just sexual energy. He believed that if you suppress it, you get neurosis, and if you release it, you get relief. It shaped a culture that tells men today even constant release is still healthy. But Carl Jung, one of Freud's students, saw something strange. In his studies, he observed that when a man stopped having sex, he suddenly started painting obsessively. He noticed the energy didn't disappear. It almost always went somewhere else. Jung tracked this pattern. In Symbols of Transformation, he wrote, "Libido isn't just sexual. It's life energy that can take any shape." He realized this energy didn't have to be released sexually like Freud said. Instead, it could transform into deeper abilities. This realization severed his relationship with Freud. For Freud, everything was sex. For Jung, sex was one expression of something much bigger. He publishes his manuscript, knowing he'll lose his teacher, his friends, his reputation, but he found something true. The pressure you feel when you retain, that overwhelms you with its intensity. Jung mapped it. He showed how it redirects inside the individual and wakes up everything he's kept asleep. Today, I'm giving you Carl Jung's map. When you understand his framework, you will be able to transmute this energy using these 3 psychological gateways. Let's dive in. After breaking with Freud in 1913, Jung lost his professional mentor. For decades, Freud had been his guiding authority in the field, and Jung's departure from libido, as strictly sexual, damaged his reputation. His methods became more experimental, and soon he fell into what he called his confrontation with the unconscious. Visions, fantasies, and strange images started flooding his mind. But Jung didn't run, he engaged. Sitting with the images, he wrote them down. This became his red book. The first thing he realized, because the unconscious lies deep within a person, giving it a voice meant paying attention to symbols and dreams. His second realization followed naturally. When energy gets blocked, it flows backward into the unconscious. And the first place it shows up is your imagination. On semen retention, you're creating this block. The energy activates your imagination. Fantasies get stronger, more real. Images flood in. Most men think this is weakness, and they try to push the images away. But Jung would tell you, you're fighting the wrong fight. If energy naturally expresses itself through fantasy, pictures, symbols, this means you can guide these images on purpose. Sit with the energy when it builds. Close your eyes, and instead of letting it pull you towards sexual images, guide it yourself. See yourself as the hero of your own story, building something you've always wanted, being your higher self. This is active imagination, a conversation between the conscious and unconscious through images. When you imagine yourself becoming who you want to be, you feel something. Clarity, aliveness, alignment. Those feelings are real emotional data. And here's the key. Those feelings become your compass in real life. Your body stores these heightened emotions, and next time you face a tough decision, your gut will signal the right choice. This is intuition, direction. After years of tension and release, you most likely lack intuition. You forget what you're meant to be doing with your life. That part of you that knows your destiny grows quiet, and you drift. But with retained energy and active imagination, that connection comes back. The emotions from your active imagination reconnect you to the deeper parts that know what you're here to do. Your sexual energy is creative energy looking for form. Give it symbolic outlets. Set aside time each day to let it flow into imagination, vision, and building your future self. But imagination is just the beginning. As that energy builds, something else surfaces. Something most men aren't ready for. Something Jung called the shadow. Jung discovered what Freud missed. That sexual energy and shadow energy are the same thing. On retention, you reveal everything society taught you to hide. The anger you've been numbing with release suddenly appears. That sadness you've been avoiding rises. This is your shadow side, emerging from deep within. Most men relapse here. They can't face the negative emotions that start to resurface. But Jung knew this was a gift. While unsettling, sexual energy also gives you enough strength to face this shadow. When anger builds, don't act on it, but don't push it away. Talk to it. Simply ask what it wants. Investigate yourself. Where have you been too weak? What boundary have you failed to hold? The anger you feel is pure energy trying to make you whole again. Sadness is years of numbness melting, years of using release to avoid feeling. The shadow isn't our enemy. It's a part of us that society rejected, that we dulled through habitual release. Semen retention finally lets you feel it while giving you the strength to deal with it through understanding, not distraction. Most urges to relapse are only to avoid this confrontation. The addiction isn't just to pleasure, it's to hiding from our emotions, which only further strengthens the shadow. This is where most men break, because when life starts taking you for a ride, it's easy to forget these things. That's why it's so important to have a structured practice and a clear vision of the future you can return to daily. And that's why we built Transmute, the first app built for conscious practice of semen retention. With guided transmutation, daily practices rooted in ancient wisdom, and a milestone-based reward system that goes beyond streak counting, hundreds of men have already downloaded our app and are redirecting their energy toward creation instead of dissolving into pleasure. Download Transmute today from the link in the description, and we'll meet you inside. But there's one more door you need to understand to grasp Jung's framework fully. This is the one Jung spent his entire life trying to understand: the Transcendent Function. Here's something you've probably noticed. You want to be the interesting one in conversations, tell stories, be funny, have people pay attention to you. But you also know you should be interested in others by asking questions and listening well. Most men only find themselves in one state or the other, either talking about yourself constantly and appearing narcissistic, or only listening to the point you fade into the background. Meanwhile, you notice there are others who just seem to get it. They flow naturally, and you wish you could get a glimpse of what they have. Here's what's happening with those men, and what Jung discovered about sexual energy. Sexual energy wants to bring things together, to create something new, by joining opposites. Jung discovered that when you retain that energy, it turns inward, where it can only do one thing. It starts joining the opposite parts of you. This was Jung's greatest discovery, the Transcendent Function. Let's call it what it really is, the meeting point. Think about it this way. There's a part of you that wants to work hard, stay disciplined, follow rules, while another part wants to be free, break rules, and do whatever feels good. Usually these parts fight and cause you to swing back and forth. Some days are super disciplined, while other days you completely fall apart. But when you retain, something remarkable happens. You get enough energy to hold both sides of yourself simultaneously, meaning you no longer have to pick a side. Jung discovered that when you hold both sides without releasing the tension, a third door appears. Not be super strict or give up completely, rather, something that transcends both. With retained energy, you don't plan conversations or try to balance it. You hold both impulses, the desire to shine and the desire to learn from others. You are able to sit with that tension. The conversation flows, you tell a story and others are interested. You listen deeply and people are drawn to your presence. The conversation becomes effortless because you're not choosing sides. You're holding both until the right move emerges in the moment. This is why men who retain suddenly have insights, breakthroughs, solutions from nowhere. The energy creates new options, new paths, new ways of being. Jung called this becoming whole, something most men never become, because they can't hold the strongest tension of them all, that of their sexual instinct. Excessive release trains you to let go by picking a side and giving into it, while retaining sexual energy gives you the power to hold both sides, to stand in that uncomfortable middle space, where the third option will always eventually emerge. This is balance. These three psychological doors, active imagination, shadow work, and the transcendent function, they're parts of one movement, the movement of life energy from unconscious habit to conscious creation. Every urge you feel is an invitation to channel energy through one of these doors. Every moment of overwhelm is raw material for change. Every day you retain, you're building the mental container to hold more tension, face more shadow, imagine more powerfully, and ultimately align with your higher self. Jung paid the price for this knowledge. He lost his teacher, his community, his reputation. He went into his confrontation with the unconscious. And from that descent, he came out with a map. Now you have it in your hands. Any man can hold his seed for a time. The question is whether you'll use Jung's doors to transform that energy into becoming whole. The doors are there. Now go through them and transform.